I don't want to get into it.
And ain't nobody gonna stop me.
Front yard both times.
Fucking bath towel boy over here.
Buddy.
Dude, I'm telling you, you know my shitting fucking resume, and it's only at home. That's all I do, shit at home, and that was terrifying for me.
And then puked. Yuck.
And then had to stare down on my own shit while I cleaned it up because it got under the lid.
Oh.
God damn, bro.
I know.
Yeah,
I was just sitting there like,
I would have puked on top of my puke cleaning it up, bro.
I know. But then I would have to do it all over again. I'm like, fuck.
Fuck, I'm already under the lid.
This is my nightmare.
Yeah, it's fucked, bro. God damn. Well, friends, we thinking about the Mandela Effect tonight.
The old Mandela Ella.
Yeah, Mandela. And I don't know, kind of get into it. I know Steve read the definition a little bit, and it's just like like a false memory, right?
I've been looking at examples and shit of what common examples and stuff. I mean, I got a pretty good. I don't have a great grasp of it, but yeah, I can.
Yeah, we can talk about it a little bit, you know.
I can chime in here and there. No worries.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know of a few examples.
Yeah, it's just interesting. I mean, just the theories behind it, and you know, stuff like that. And I've heard some like weird theories, and I've heard just some regular theories and blah blah blah. You know, definitions, science, whatever. But
yeah,
we'll get into that, and then who knows? Maybe dive into some simulation theory. Who knows where it takes us?
Just dipping our toe in it.
Well, yeah, buddy.
They almost go hand in hand.
Yeah,
a little
kind
bit.
of close.
I mean, maybe that's why I thought of it, but you never know.
It could change tomorrow. Who knows, Mandela?
This never happened.
It's not quite like I remember it, but do you have the definition of what the Mandela Effect actually is?
Steve had it up. I don't know if he still has it up.
Let's see.
But while he's getting that, I guess podcast, welcome in. And tonight we got your boy B Nasty. We got Steve P and Timbo in the house. Bug. He's sayonara. Probably
not
gone
here.
forever, but just tonight. Who knows what he's doing?
Who knows, Mandela?
I mean, from what I know about the Mandela, I mean, it's just like a memory that you think that you remember, but it's actually not the same.
Yeah. It's a commonly held false memory. And commonly held false memory. There's quite a few examples.
Yeah. There's a
Rattle
lot.
a couple off.
Yeah, I think it all started with Nelson Mandela. Mandela Effect. Everybody, or a bunch of people, if I remember right, they all they remember watching his funeral on TV, and then like years later, they found out he's still alive.
Yeah,
but they vividly remember that shit. They're like, I watched his funeral. His wife made a beautiful speech, and never happened.
Yeah,
that's the weirdest thing. Is that so many people are convinced of these things. And when you hear like certain examples of it, you also start to question like, yeah, I remember it this way. And then basically they tell you, no, it was never that way. And you're just like, what the hell? No, I know it was.
Yeah.
And that one was a big one. Like I remember that a little bit. I just remember reading a little bit about it. I wasn't, really there. I remember that, but I remember reading it. I always thought that was super interesting. The one I probably remember the most is like the Berenstain Bears. I was like shocked. My sister's like, how is that spelled? And I told her, and she's like, nah. I was like, Well, you're out of your mind because I was there
Yep.
reading it as a child. So
It was funny when you brought that up to me today at work because I literally, that was what started like the conversation between me and my wife yesterday. I asked her how, I was like, have you ever read the Bernstein Bears? She's like, yeah. And I was like, how would you spell it? And she spelt it Stein. And I was like, no, they're saying it's Stain. I was like, there's no way because I remember it being specifically Steen, not Stain.
yeah.
Yeah, you could totally see those book covers with the author's name on it, right? Or the bear's name. I remember it being EIN.
Yeah. How weird is that?
But-
Like a collective, everyone does that. Like, just weird that that would even be a thing. You know?
And it's like, what timelines does that happen at? Like, where does the Mandela effect mostly happen? Like, Bernstein Bears is kind of an older timeline. And then you go to like the Disney, pixie dot in the eye or whatever on Disney. And apparently that never happened. But you can vividly remember her waving her wand and dashing
Wait, that
before
never
she flies
happened?
off. Allegedly, that's another example of it.
You're talking about Tinkerbell or whatever?
Yeah.
Bing.
Uh-huh. I mean, how vividly do you remember that? That's like just naturally part of it. So it would be weird for you to watch an old VHS and have that not happen. Be like, wait a second.
Wait, have you
Like-
watched an old VHS?
I don't have
Wasn't
any.
it? I wish I had a VHS player. Fuck.
I don't even see. That's the weird thing is like, that's kind of going along with what I'm saying is like, what timeline does that fall into of where most of the prime examples of Mandela effect happen?
I don't know.
Is it just like our generation, maybe a little bit younger, a little bit older?
Maybe.
And-
When was Blockbuster out?
Oh man,
Or
what a
big
place!
hit. Be
Though.
kind, rewind.
Oh yeah, you better.
Our age is showing.
Yeah.
That was still around when we were in high school and it was still there.
Yeah, there was still
And-
a Blockbuster right next to my work in like 2004, 2005.
Yeah, dude. Crazy. But it's think of all the VHS then and now. None. I mean, new times, but I don't even know if you can go back and watch them. I don't even know if you know who even has VHS to even test out any of these things.
Oh, my granny, she tried pawning off some VHS on me and told me to stay in the yard sale, and I was like, those aren't very good movies. Matter of fact, why are you still hanging on to these?
Yeah. Like, you should have took her up on it so we could have tested out this theory.
Oh, don't worry. If she had some, some Disney movies, I'd have been all about it.
Yeah, dude. I remember, well, one, I saw a picture of it. As soon as, I was thinking about this topic, I, looked into a couple. One was Looney Tunes. Like, Tunes was spelt Tunes, and the other one was spelt Toons. And I was like, wait a minute.
Hmm.
I don't know. It just seems so weird that the time is almost like blurred for me on that. I'm like, I don't even remember what it was.
No, and all I can think of is like from Space Jam, the Toon Squad, which was Toon.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That makes me think that it
Yeah.
was. Yeah, it's. I don't know. It had to be
I don't even-
Toons.
Well, you'd be wrong.
Damn it!
Wait,
Mandela.
is it Tuns? Is
I
that
think-
right?
Right, motherfucker.
I think it's TON.
No, it's let's see.
Is it Tunes? I don't even know.
Actually, I think
Yeah.
it was TUN, and then they flipped it as tune for like cartoon. But I mean, Looney Tune would be cartoons, so why wouldn't it be TOO?
Yeah, Tunes would be songs. Like,
Because of
Yeah.
movies,
Yeah.
right? No,
Yeah.
songs. That,
Yeah,
that
they're-
doesn't make any sense.
It's not Looney songs. It's Looney cartoons.
Looney Tunes. It's Tunes, huh? What a confusing
Yes, the
childhood.
correct was spelled as Tunes.
Yeah, why? Yeah. Why is it that, yeah, like you're saying, the Toon Squad on Space Jam, that was a classic. MJ, by the way. Bill
Yeah, but
Murray.
you don't even remember it the right way.
Nobody
Bill
better tell me
Murray.
it's spelled Tunes. Look this up.
I just looked it up and it's, yeah.
That's what it said. Yeah. What about
Tunes.
Curious George? Did he have a
Oh,
tail or
what
not?
the? No, it's not.
Curious George, what?
Wait,
Did Curious George have a tail or not?
Well,
I've seen that
curious.
one, and I
don't
can't
know.
remember.
I
Yes.
don't remember if he did. Did he hang on any trees? I know his owner had like a weird yellow hat.
He was a monkey, dude. Of course he hung on trees.
yeah, why the fuck would he have a
That's
tail?
what they do. No tail.
What kind of
No
monkey
tail.
is that?
I don't know about that.
Yeah, come on now. I'm out of here.
Well, what the fuck?
Monkey with no tail.
Let's see.
Yeah, there's some weird stuff, dude. That's why I kind of want to talk, because there was this theory about the particle accelerator just going off like years and years ago, and they tried to test something, and then they said it like merged some timelines, and then I don't know what happened, but they said it could have been like a alternate dimension, you know, like the multiverse type stuff, and we could be in like a alternate one if you're over a certain age or whatever when it happened. It could have swapped, and this is just how it is. And I don't know. It's just weird that the alternate universe would be such small little changes though, and not like big shit.
Well, they can't be obvious.
Well, I don't know if
gotta
they
be-
would try to. If it was like a multiverse, it would just be their own dimension, and then we're on our own, and somebody else is their own. But,
Yeah, that's true. Just blending.
yeah, it'd just be weird. I mean,
Let's see, what kind of examples do we have? Bernstein Bear seems to be the most common one.
The one that I feel like I remember. I don't remember the movie itself and like what the plot was. I just kind of remember vaguely, but I feel like there was a movie with Sinbad where he played a superhero named Shazam.
Yeah.
Apparently that didn't happen. But
Shazam.
I can't.
Wasn't he a genie?
Wait.
No, that was Shaq. He was Kazam.
Kazam.
But Sinbad was Shazam. He was a superhero, like the Shazam movie that's out now with.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name, but.
Huh.
Wait. There was a Shazam.
That's
I
what
swear,
I'm
I
saying.
swear there was.
It was Sinbad.
I mean, I know what you're talking about. How many movies was he in? Yeah, he was only in probably one, two.
He had a couple.
I was about to say that was
Not in
probably
this
his one and only.
You're thinking of the other dimension.
How weird is that though, dude? Just
Trips me out.
Wait, what? Some of the like that type of shit I hear, it's like such a convincing, like it's a no-brainer. Be like, yeah, that movie existed, and then all of a sudden it's like, no, it didn't. Then you start to question shit, like, what the fuck?
dude, what if Google or whoever controlling the internet, the black market or whatever, what if they went and just changed a bunch of shit just to fuck with us, just to make us
nuts.
question reality?
That's what I instantly thought when I started looking at freaking Bernstein Bear shit.
Yeah, we gotta
I'm
go
like, and
dive into dark web.
Oh, there's one also, the Mona Lisa. I mean, very popular painting. Commonly thought of that she just had kind of a blank expression on her face.
Yeah.
No, she's fucking smiling in it now.
Wait, what?
Like she has like she has a smirk on her face. Like is clearly almost a smile. I never remember
the
Mona Lisa.
is you couldn't tell if she was smiling or smirking or.
Well, Google
That's
it
the whole
now, buddy.
point of
'Cause
it.
she ain't frowning now. She turned that frown upside down in this dimension.
Wait,
Yeah, look it up.
what the fuck?
Yeah, she's giving a little smirk there.
Yeah, but it's like
I saw I went to the Louvre and saw that. And yeah, there's
no smile.
it's no smile, or no, there's a smile. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
see?
a smirk.
Yeah,
Like
she smirks.
it's not like a obvious smile, but it's not a like stoic face. It's there's a smirk there.
Dude, somebody's
And
gotta
not-
be fucking with us.
Now, when you were younger, though, she wasn't smirking. She almost, I mean, there's two things I remembered about her, almost just being just like, I don't know. And then the other one is her eyes always followed you.
Yeah.
But I never was like, oh, Mona Lisa, she's so happy. Never.
No, it's
No.
it's. I mean,
That was why the whole point of it was famous, though, is you couldn't tell. You can definitely tell she's happy. The other one, you couldn't. It was weird. It like used to trip you out. Like her eyes would follow you, and you couldn't tell if she was like smirking at you or like weirdly, like checking you out, like you're fucking up. That's why it was famous.
Well,
All right, I am really starting to say my opinion. This shit.
yeah.
I mean, what are the odds? What would the odds be if somebody would just go in overnight or whatever and just change a bunch of shit, just subtly, just to make you question things?
I mean, what would be the point?
To fucking make you question reality and have control over you? I don't know.
Panic.
Yeah.
Chaos.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, it's definitely a possibility. There's, especially when, I mean, it's very smart. That would be super smart to do because it's not somebody telling you or convincing you. You're questioning things yourself and not knowing.
Yeah.
Like even on the little shit. And now it's a big thing though, and it's like on social media and it's on different places. So their marketing's on point. These little fucks.
Yeah, but they can't change like the books and the VHS
Exactly.
tapes though. Like, I mean, they could fuck with you, but you'd have proof if you had an old Bernstein Bears book or
Who has the book? I haven't seen one.
I don't know. I probably have a few.
Oh, you better go dig in the crawl space.
My kids have probably got some in their room right now.
Yeah, but
But how mad would you be if it was stain?
Yeah, it's probably stain.
It'd be a stain on your memory.
And then you wouldn't believe it.
I still don't believe it. This Mona Lisa was the fucking straw.
That was weird, huh?
Yeah, I remember when somebody pointed out that she's got like a little smirk. I was like, what? Oh, okay. I guess so. I guess I never noticed it. I didn't think anything of it.
Yeah, but I thought the whole point was like she had like a tiny smirk, but you didn't know like it was a smirk.
Yeah, there's some sort of
mystery.
mystery.
This one, I'm just like, yeah, this bitch is fucking. She's telling a joke in her mind about me.
She's squeezing a fart out, a little smirk. But other ones, you're just like, why are you so down?
Yeah, why you gotta be so rude? What else you guys got? This is terrible. The Mona Lisa's.
Have you seen that?
In the Queen song, "We Are the Champions"? Do you guys remember "Of the World" at the end? We're the champions of the world.
That's, yeah. We used to sing it all the time.
Yeah.
Not.
But in the actual album, the phrase is missing. We're saying that on the album release, that's not really there. He doesn't say that at the end. Yeah.
Somebody pull up the Mighty Ducks soundtrack.
Yeah.
That's what I remember from.
I was thinking.
Unless, Mighty Ducks, solid show. Unless the Mighty Duck said it at the end, but I'm pretty sure I could vividly hear his voice. Yeah.
No, yeah.
Of the world. Hey, like
that's like a big part of the song.
You sound just like him.
I know. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Tim. Yeah, that was like one of the best part of the song. I think it was one of the reasons why I liked the song. Maybe not.
Another one was Star Wars. Luke, I am your father. Never said it. It wasn't Luke, I am your father. It's no, I am your father.
Yeah.
And that makes more sense, honestly, but I feel like I remember Luke.
How would that be the most famous saying of all time?
Exactly. Like they made
sure said it that way.
If he never said it that way, it's just famous.
Yeah,
but it's weird. Like, it's just no, I am your father. But everybody would say
I thought he said,
I am your father.
I think everybody said it that way because of Tommy Boy.
Yeah, maybe. I think Brad nailed it.
Is that maybe?
Or
because he's fucking with him?
And that's what he does in Tommy Boy. Luke, and that was pretty popular show. So
I mean,
that could
it's
be
true.
we all
Even more
remember
popular
that.
than Star Wars.
'Cause that's why I remember it, leaning into the fan, doing that myself as a kid.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe. Do
So
we
that
think
almost-
that there's like little other people who did other shit in movies like the Mighty Ducks? Do you think they set up the world and now we all think that?
I mean, it could be an explanation why they're like some memories just stick with you more than others.
Yeah.
And if you watch the Mighty Ducks and that had a profound effect on you, it might be the reason why you remember it that way.
Could be the definition of the Mandela Effect. Just explained.
I mean, I guess it could be. That was very odd though. How do people remember a funeral that never happened? In a speech.
Yeah, that was weird.
I think there
Is
was
Tupac
some
alive?
speech.
What else do we not know? Jesus
I don't
Christ,
even
what
remember
else
him
do we-
dying. Jeez.
Well, I do.
Mandela.
Yeah, I mean, it's just weird. So one of the reasons I thought about this is because I heard somebody say, like, if you try to think back of where you were on 9/11, that you could pinpoint where you're at, but then a lot of people, you know, they were in different spots than they thought. You know, wherever, like cell phone pings or whatever however they found out. I don't know. That was a thing back in 01, but yeah, they were saying that you're different. I can vividly remember like standing in my driveway talking to my dad, like vividly.
And then going to school still.
Yeah, and still having to go to school, and then all we did is watch fucking 9/11 airplanes crash again and again and again and again.
Well, only twice.
Well, I mean, they replayed it like fucking ESPN.
I went to Mr. Robinson's class, 7th grade. I remember walking in there and immediately just sitting down and watching the TV.
Yeah. What if somebody told you that was wrong, though? What if they're like, no, you were actually at your grandma's house and she made you a PB&J sandwich, crust cut off?
See, that'd piss me off because that's like... I'd be like, bullshit. You never cut the crust. Aha! No, Josh, she did.
She did, for real. It's on the internet. Check it out. Google it. But you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. That's what made me think about it. And I was like, what? And I, dig in a little bit more. And I was like, oh, yeah, I remember all this stupid shit that I thought was fake at the time. Because, like, there's no way Berenstein was staying. Still don't.
Yeah. But a lot of those are early memories. Still.
Then I actually heard this one, I don't know, like neuroscientist dude. He was saying that, like, every time you think on a memory, it's your mind recreating it from what you think happened.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So if you remember it from forever ago, it's probably like a lot more accurate than if you think about that same memory all the time, because it could change, which I think is super weird and interesting at the same time.
Yeah, the way that I think he said it was that you're not remembering the memory, you're remembering the last time you remembered it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I have men lose arguments all the time against their wives, because they have much better memories than we do, and we just think we remember something some way, and then all of a sudden we're wrong, and they remember it better.
Or they remember you saying something you didn't.
Even though you fully believe that you're right, even though you could be wrong.
Wow.
I just never remember anything. I'm always convinced my wife is just making shit up. I'm like,
At this point, I think that's for the best.
I didn't say that. That didn't happen.
It's a good move. I do that too. I'm like, I don't think I said that. That didn't even sound like me.
First off, just like, prove it.
Yeah, perfect. Come on. Would you record me? Yeah, put your phone on.
Oh, that's not how I remember it.
They do that. They do. It happens.
That's altered. It's altered.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you ever Googled Mandela Effect?
You're going through it right now, and I understand.
Yeah, dude. But I don't know. It's just weird. So I mean, that's why I was like, okay, well, if we really do recreate it in our minds, and it's some recreated memory, like we could be wrong about a lot of things, but also like, why would you just vividly remember it if somebody hasn't brought it up? And I don't know.
So many people.
Yeah. And how are so many things recreated the same way? And they're remembered the same way.
By people like we haven't talked about this ever before, and still we're thinking of it the same way.
Mm-hmm.
And when you told me Mona Lisa, I was like, all right, I know what it's about. And I saw it and I was like, what do you mean?
Wrong.
I mean, the picture that they got on the internet makes it a little. It's not as obvious as a smile. It's more a slight smirk, not a she's pumped face.
Oh yeah.
maybe,
But can you?
Maybe
It's
they're
not like a
fucking
solid face either. It's like you can't tell whether it's she's happy or she's
or smirking
like
at you.
You can't tell the expression.
Yeah,
what
that's
it
what it
is.
was.
Yeah, but it's not a frown.
Yeah. See, and that's kind of how I always remembered her, is more of like a just paint the fucking picture type of photo. Like,
yeah, and that's why it's weird to me. And now, I mean, who knows? Everything's
something
Photoshop.
like the Mona Lisa. That just could be the way that he painted that. The Leonardo da Vinci painted that. Could he have painted it so that depending on the type of person, you saw it one way, somebody else next to you sees it. They see the smirk, you see the annoyance.
mm-hmm.
Could that an intention by the artist, and that's why it's so conflicted.
Yeah. I thought that was kind of like the point, right? Is why it was famous. I guess
I capture that. Like, that's crazy.
Exactly. That's why it's the most one of the most famous paintings. I thought, and now I don't know. Maybe these are Photoshop, but this bitch is smiling all over the place.
The one on the internet makes it look like
she's got teeth.
Yeah.
I mean, I got one of Vin Diesel face over Mona Lisa. That doesn't count.
Yeah.
Nah, that's it.
One's
That's
like
original.
Angry face, and the other's a big smile. Yeah, it's not that.
Okay, well,
it's
that's
more
what sucks now. Like internet, you question a lot more than you would have before, because everything could be photoshopped and can twist your thoughts. So that's what I'm saying. Like Mandela Effect, like where does the beginning of it usually happen? Like what is the most, top, like the Bernstein Bears? What era was that? And then now that the internet's more popular, like is that when the Mandela Effect primarily started? Was when internet influence took over?
Could be.
And
when did she come?
I mean, it would make more sense because trolls are everywhere.
Yeah, it's just more documented. And
yeah, I mean, now they attack you for everything, but they can also alter anything, and fucking knows now. I mean, I don't know. Trolls used to be under the bridge in our little kids' books. Now they're fucking all over the internet, behind the keyboard, being little dweebs. Matter of fact, I'm about to start giving out wedgies.
So it says the origins of the Mandela Effect is first coined in 2009 by Fiona Broom, and she created a website to detail her observance of the phenomenon. About how Mandela passed away in the 80s, and they remembered a vivid funeral, and then he didn't die till 2019 or 2013, so 4 years after she thought that he was dead.
Yeah.
See,
and he might be living in a parallel universe.
Verywellmind.com. But
was she the one that wrote about like the parallel universe? Was that like some dude or something?
No, I think that was different. Person. This is just she made a website about that, and like Oscar Mayer, whether it was Oscar Mayer or Oscar Mayer.
Mayer.
Meyer.
Yeah, Oscar
It's
Mayer.
Mayer.
See?
Yeah, but it's spelled Mayer.
No, that's John.
No. That's Jonathan.
It's
Yeah,
John Mayer, buddy. Hey, you're mistaken.
Yeah, see, that's so.
Wait. No, they had a commercial. Oscar Mayer weenies.
No, they did, Brad. It was Mayer.
Yeah,
Oscar
I
Mayer.
never said Mayer, bro. That's John.
Yep.
Again, it's Jonathan.
Mayer. It also could just
Stop
be the way
it.
we say it from our area. We say
Yeah.
Mayor.
Yeah,
we
but on
say
the West
Meyer,
Coast, we pronounce everything as the East Coast. That's like, water. It was water. You know?
That's some great,
Yeah.
No, I
great
don't-
East Coast.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah. Whose car we taking,
Sure.
huh? Put it in the bag. Put it in the bag over there, see? Yeah, we say bag on the West. We say water.
They say bag.
Yeah, they say bag. Yeah, we say bag.
That's only the
My
We say
mother-in-law,
Meyer.
yeah, she says water instead of water.
An old bag.
Yeah, bag. Yeah, B-E-G, bro,
Bag.
bag. Yeah, I'm like, what are you begging about?
Yeah, they say it that way in Montana too. So that's
Really?
Debunked.
yeah. Remember Coach Cassidy? That's how he said it.
Yeah, but
It was
Yeah.
bags.
Hit the
Yeah.
bags. I'm gonna go have me an Oscar Mayer.
Jesus Christ. It's all time, bro.
It's all just accents. Mandela Effect is fake. Google it.
Yep, that makes sense for 3 of them so far.
God damn, we're dumb. We think of this whole Mandela things, bro. Mandela Effect.
I mean, what else are we gonna learn, dude? All right, so what are the odds? Let's get a little tinfoil hat on. What are the odds that we are in a parallel dimension?
Well,
And
when
that
did
this particle accelerator jumped on and, without us knowing, just warped us over? We had some earthquake or whatever happened, and then boom, seamlessly hopped over. I don't know what happened to them, but
do you know when that supposedly happened?
but I think it was 2013.
Yeah.
Particle accelerator. Let me look this up real quick because this is very interesting.
I mean, I wouldn't counter it out completely. Sounds like
So
something.
they did it again. They did it barely. Yeah, beam, fast move, whatever. So atomic subparticles. Let me see.
I mean, you'd think something like that could happen with the amount of research that they put into stuff like alternate universes, and
Okay.
there's got to be a reason why they research that so much. If it's maybe they know.
Maybe they know. Okay, whatever. 1939.
You're close.
Well, it's when he like won a Nobel Prize for it. I don't know when he. Oh, first started up September 2008. Graduation. Yeah. What if then everything we remembered from 2008 till now is changed, and that's why our whole childhood is fucked. Looney Tunes. Fucking.
But
I
then
don't know.
everyone else in the other parallel universe had the opposite effect. And they're like, bullshit, it's Bernstein.
Well, that would
Bernstein.
explain a lot of the arguments unless they're little dweebs, Like let's just roll down. Let's just roll down here real quick,
They'd all have to match, right?
Yeah.
Each memory, you'd have to remember them all the same way from everybody that jumped from universe to universe or multiverse to multiverse, whatever. Like, are there people that remember some of them this way and some of them that way? Like, there has to be. There's just, there has to be.
Well, yeah. I mean,
So
look
if
on the
that-
internet. Is it, or what you're saying is like people remember it this way and you remember it this way? Like there's battles about it? Is that what you're saying?
If you're saying that some of us bumped over to
switch lanes to the other.
the different, switched lanes, switched
Yeah.
parallel universes.
Yeah.
Everybody would have to have switched kind of the same way, right? So everybody'd have to remember all the facts this way the same that came from this universe, and everybody that stayed would have, you know what I mean? Is that making sense?
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
But people could switch lanes, remember it this way, one remember it this way, and then they crossed and just went, opposite and kind of joined each other, and then remembered it the opposite direction. So they have that argument. Stein. Yeah, Stein. What if it's Bernstein Bears? Or if there's that parallel universe out there?
Jesus, probably.
Ain't nobody remember that.
I mean, there could be. I mean, we could either be in theirs or we could have combined or whatever. I don't know exactly particle acceleration, whatever happens in that, but could have like combination. But I don't know. It would explain a lot of arguments, maybe, and why some people are like, "Oh, I remember it this way," and then we're so confused because Mighty Ducks is ruined now. But Space Jam.
Yeah. Doesn't make sense now.
I mean, if we did that, how many other things would be, I don't know, different ideas? Like, I wonder if that is a possibility, like if we did combine or whatever, like how many different ideas we would have, or I don't know. I wonder if there's any like an inventions that we think happened that didn't, not quite like the Wright brothers, but
yeah, it would be
pretty solid.
I think a lot of it has to do with like logos and logo rebranding.
Yeah, because I mean, Pepsi and Coke used to be different. I know that.
They still are, buddy. Coke's better.
I mean, like their logos, they rebranded and changed. And Mountain Dew used to be different, but
my bad, I read that differently.
But yeah, I do like Coke better.
Hello.
Grab
a beer.
Yeah, Pepsi's a little sweeter, I think. Which is weird because I grew up on Coke because my dad liked Coke. Now my dad likes Pepsi.
Maybe you just remember him liking Coke.
Fuck, bro. I remember the fucking little polar bear swinging down the Cokes on Christmas, bro.
Sisters about that, man.
Never happened to drink Pepsi.
He drank Pepsi his whole life.
His whole life.
God damn it, bro. My life's ruined now. I don't remember what's what. Yeah, bro. I mean, it could be, but I don't know. That stuff's always so interesting to me to talk about, just like different multiverse. I mean, because you watch like Marvel movies and they're all about it, different timelines or different little things, but I don't know. It would just be weird if because Pete, didn't you say that they did it again? Or I knew they're going to, but didn't you say that they popped it up again?
Yeah, but again, that's all just social media that it was mainly scrolling through TikToks and YouTubes and stuff like that. That
bunch of chatters
talking about it. I mean, it could be, but they were talking about it, and then I can't remember. They said they did it, and then I went to the comment section after naturally, and they were just like making little jokes about it, like how things changed for them, just joking about it. And I'm like, wait, so did that actually? Did they really do that whole thing?
Yeah, it could be full of it, and I mean, I don't know. You never know. Could have never even happened.
This could not even be happening. Who knows?
I mean, it's happening now, at least.
Be the weird thing is if the answers that everyone's looking for, like Mandela Effect, afterlife, all this weird, crazy shit. If there was one being that knew all those answers and came and told them to you, like, would you believe them? Or would you still have questions for them? And they flat out told you, no, this is, yes, we are in parallel universes. You exist here. You also exist over here. And that's why things are a little different. You might not, like, you're not just you right now. You're also you over here. But you're also you over here.
Well, the question that I would have is, like, is my conscious split? Because we don't understand consciousness. It's just very odd to me.
And then he told you yes, absolutely.
Then I don't know
Next
if I'd have
question
any
is-
more questions because I'd be like, I don't even know what.
You got any more of that shit you're taking? Because I'd like to take some.
Yeah. Shit, you got any DMT? Oh, let's go, buddy.
What's your name?
Yeah.
That's all we need to do. Just take some DMT. We'll figure out all the answers to these questions.
Probably.
You're not wrong.
I mean, for real.
What if you met yourself on DMT and went and shook your own hand and had a conversation with yourself? And then you had to go back to his other dimension. Be like, all right, man, I'll see you later.
Yeah, that'd be odd.
That'd be weird.
I mean, it could even happen, bro. You could just be your subconscious being like, hey, dude, you're fucking up.
And he's like, no, you're fucking up. Bernstein. Right?
Fucking idiot. It's always been Stain.
Yeah. I mean, that would be very weird if we did DMT and started talking to yourself, shook your hand. I don't even know what I'd do. I'd be like, who are you?
Who are you?
God damn.
Yeah, that would
That's
be
what I told you.
Yeah.
Be like that Rush Hour 3 skit.
Oh, yeah. I am you.
I'm me. I need to lay off this shit here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that would be crazy. I mean, I've heard that. I've never heard that you meet yourself, but I've heard you meet all sorts of entities, characters. Who knows? But the thing about that is, I don't know, you talk to some people about it and it could be whatever, but a lot of people think it's your own subconscious talking to yourself. Like, you know, if you need to figure this out, or they'll tell you like, hey, you're fucking up because you know yourself and you're just trying to lie to yourself.
Some of the shit that you already know, you just kind of need it in a physical presence that you met and guided you. When in your mind, you already kind of know you need to go this direction.
Yeah,
or you didn't know. I mean, that's the weird thing is like if you didn't know, and then all of a sudden you get smarter, know what you need to do when you didn't know before. Like, how is that your subconscious telling you that?
Well, I would have to hear like a story, or I guess do it myself, but like where it'd be like, hey, where you would be on this path and then it totally changed. You were like, hey, it's something I've never ever thought about. Oh, I'm gonna start writing books or whatever. Or who knows? I think then maybe it'd be like a different, but I don't know. I kind of think it's your subconscious, but I've also never done it. I'm just.
Well, you're on DMT right now, Brad.
Well, obviously, because Mandela's tripping me the fuck out.
Yeah, he died a while ago. Watched his funeral and all.
Yeah, right. 4 years before it
Then
happened.
he didn't. 2000. It was 1930 something, whatever you said.
Well, it says in 1939 he 27-year-old Norwegian engineer Rolf Wittero created it. I guess no, I don't know. I don't know why you went and started up. You created it in the 30s.
I have this article here that actually says that they turned it on yesterday.
See, that's what I was saying.
Yeah, I heard.
There's
that,
also.
I don't know if it's true.
They said back in 2012 they did a record voltage, that there was record voltage levels. So they must have turned it on in 2012 as well. Kind of lines up with some of those theories.
Kind of lines up with the Bible. Like, wasn't like the apocalypse or something supposed to be in 2012? 12, 12, 12?
That was the Mayan calendar.
I think that Mayan.
Oh, yeah, that's a Mayan calendar. That's right.
Yeah. But
Maya, Mandela, rhymes. Starts with an M.
End. There's an N in there. No, the Mayans were smart. They had it. They just, well, they got wiped out.
They're Mayan.
Well, yeah. The Mayans.
Or are they existing in an alternate universe and they got out of this one?
They could have, but no, they got wiped out. They're smart as fuck. They had all these calendars and all this, and then predictions were false. But also, I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong here, but didn't they give up their weapons and then fucking get wiped out? They couldn't
Sounds smart.
defend themselves.
Possibly.
I'm pretty sure that's what happened to him, bro.
Borderline brilliant.
These white guys are pretty convincing.
Hey, just give it here, buddy. Come here. Hey, that's a
Here's
cool
a-
calendar. Wait, what's on your shirt?
Oh, need a blanket?
Fuck. That's fucked up, bro. You want
I
smallpox?
think there's some
Send it
belief
out.
that they thought that the white men were gods, and that's why they
Well, they're
gave
not
up,
wrong.
didn't fight
What?
right away. And what? Like they thought that they were return of some gods or something.
Damn.
Just thought we were glowing. Our skin was so pale.
Yeah. Something. Yeah. I mean,
Like,
could be.
man,
I'm
thanks for
sorry
all
to
your
all of our
weapons.
Mayan viewers. I don't mean to offend you. Oh, wait. There are no more.
Oh, yeah, my bad.
Yeah, we passed that point a long time ago.
Oh, too soon, Timbo.
Too soon. Too soon.
Too soon, Timbo.
Let them grieve, man. Come on.
Yeah.
God damn, that's way too funny. I don't mind viewers.
God damn, Timbo. You're an asshole.
Just a little dark humor.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
I can't believe you said that.
Oh, man. That is solid.
Was it too soon, though?
Yeah. Yeah, way too soon. That was like a couple thousand.
Oh, man. Well, Timbo, I mean, I guess since you brought that up, but also you kind of put in our Discord about simulation theory. What are your thoughts on that, dude? Because I got my own little theories, but
That one kind of fucked me up, honestly. My coworker just started talking about it one day and telling me, like, I've never been a conspiracy theorist before, but she was just kind of going on about her stuff she's heard of, and that one just really made me think, like, it could be true.
I mean,
And
it could. But what was it?
Yeah, the whole. I mean, I don't know the theory by heart, but from what I know about it, it's that basically none of this is real. It could just be some computer simulation that somebody makes up, and everything that you are living and going through is just a simulation. It's just The Sims. Somebody's playing a game, or just
You could be
it's
in
a
simulation.
program, which it I don't know.
It's a
It makes you
weird
think
thought.
sometimes. I've seen videos of scientists like playing with like brain cells in a petri dish, looking at them under the microscope, watching them try and connect with each other, and it's like, oh my god, we could be in a fucking petri dish. Like this all could be just made up.
I mean, it could be. Have you guys ever watched Rick and Morty?
No.
No, I think we're
it's-
probably the only three people that haven't.
Yeah, well, it's pretty funny, but in one of the episodes, they're at this massive game world type place in outer space, and he puts on the headset, and literally Morty like lives his full life from like being born, and you know, it kind of gives you a highlight reel, and then he dies, and then all of a sudden, you know, the thing stops. He takes off his helmet, and he's like crying, and he's like, "Oh, you lived till you're 65, not bad," you know, and then his fucking. You know, his
See, that's
grandpa
pretty
throws it
crazy.
back on, you know, and does his own thing, but like just lived a full life. And I don't know. I think it's interesting. I mean, that, but plus, like, you know, how augmented reality and stuff and how good graphics are. And we didn't think about that then now, but now where like virtual reality and like augmented reality is like being a thing and how much better it could get. Like how much of a possibility? I mean, I think Elon Musk said that it's going to be so real that it's going to be indistinguishable from real life. Like you won't know whether you're in the simulation or not. And so he's like, so who knows that we're not in one right now? But then you're like, all right, well we're within a simulation within a simulation. within another one, perhaps. But
I swear there was a Joe Rogan podcast that was talking about, one of the guests was talking how this guy went to, I don't know if it was a DMT trip or what exactly it was, but like he lived a full like couple of years with like had a family and everything, and then he came out of the trip and was just so lost. Like he started explaining how he lived a different life in, well, it wasn't a life, but it was a span of that particular life, and he had kids that he didn't have in his current life or reality, however you want to put it. But he explained a separate existence that he had, and it was just like a long length of life, kind of like if you were a dog for a year, you lived 7 years of a life. Like it was almost like the same type of feeling that he had.
Yeah. Do you remember how old he was, like when it started, or like his?
I can't remember.
He was like an adult or like a teen, or I mean.
No, he was going to work. I mean, he had a wife and kids.
Sorry, I guess the wife and kids at least have to be over 18.
Well, I mean,
yeah, I've heard stories of people having like going into comas or just unconscious, and they go through the same thing where they live this entire life where they grow and they meet their wife and they get married and have kids and raise them, and then when they come to, it's only been like a couple years or couple days or a couple minutes or a couple hours, but they live that entire life in that short span, and they vividly remember it, and they miss their family and their kids. And
yeah, and that's actually what he was kind of relating it to, of the saying like your life flashes before your eyes before you die. Like he kind of said it as like that moment of, it was like a release of, it must have been DMT, because I want to say that there's like a release of DMT before you die.
Yeah, or near death, like car crash, whatever. But so that's where they get it from, I think. But do you think that like leads over into a coma though? Yeah, like a constant IV drip?
Maybe, but it could be as weird as a dream. I mean, you wake up from a dream and being like, what the fuck? Like, I did some crazy shit. Never met that person in my life, but I felt like I knew that person in my dream. Like, how, like, at what point is reality like separated when you are interacting with this, person in your dream and can do all sorts of shit, and then you wake up from it and be like, you wonder, like, well, am I going to ever meet that person? Have I met that person before and just don't know? Like, and I think that's a lot of where like some weird deja vu happens.
Yeah, that's I've read and listened to podcasts and stuff that relate that kind of stuff to it. But they also say that when you take DMT, you wake up like it's from a dream. You remember it's vivid, and then it kind of fades, and then by a few hours later you don't remember it. So you have to like write it down or
do some sleep journal type stuff.
Yeah, which is also weird that you can't remember a dream, and your dreams are so weird. Like they say your mind can't like create things that it hasn't seen. So if you see people in your dreams, right? That like if you see someone in your dream, you've obviously seen them before. Maybe put like a head and a body together or something. But I don't know if I buy that, because how do you explain your imagination? Like, how are all these crazy things like, who made this microphone or this fucking TV or monitors in front of us? Like, somebody had to imagine that and do it. Nobody was like, hey, make something like this. Or you just didn't put like a TV and a fucking TV together. Somebody had to create it, and be like, oh, well, if I do this, it'll create glass, and then I can have glass reflect off of this, and it's backwards, and I got to do this and flip it and whatever.
Yeah, I definitely think you could probably use your imagination in your dreams, but the whole deja vu effect, I think that maybe comes into play with your dreams too. I remember this crazy ass dream when I was a kid. I was like, I don't know, 8 or 9 years old. My mom was working at a movie rental place, not Blockbuster, but
Hollywood Video.
She was
Great American Video.
in my dream,
Well, they're not.
I was at her work and I was looking at these movies. I was in one particular section looking at these movies, and this guy came in, and I remember looking over at him, and I'm just looking at the movies, and he grabs me and fucking just takes off running with me. I got kidnapped in my dream, and it was scary as shit, when you're a
I
kid.
bet.
But then I don't remember how long it was after that. I was actually awake at my mom's work, looking at the same movies in the same section, and I saw the guy walk in from my dream. Same fucking guy. Scared the shit out of me.
I bet, bro. You fucking hid so fast.
Oh, dude, I just gripped onto those movie racks so hard. I was fucking white knuckling it, just like, oh my god, I'm about to be kidnapped.
Yeah.
At that moment, you realized you were 21 years old and you could have that guy.
Coming in looking like Fabio.
But yeah, that just seeing that guy
That's
from
weird,
the dream.
Though. How your mind would project that because you haven't seen him.
I could have seen him in the movie store before, though. He could have just been a regular customer. I'd kind of seen out of my periffs and just.
You could have seen him before your mind was fully developed, like if you were like 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And just caught that little photograph in your memory at the time, and then just boom, that happened. But the weird thing about deja vu is like when you realize it's going on, you always sit there and be like, you look around, you're like, what the fuck? Like you almost always say it too. I'm having deja vu right now.
Yeah.
And then everyone just like, oh, really? That's crazy. But usually it ends about the time you say, hey, I'm having deja vu. Holy shit, I'm still having deja vu. I knew you were going to say that. Like that doesn't really ever happen. It's usually like in the moment of your realization, and then it's just gone.
Maybe it's a simulation theory and we're in a game and we fucked up. And we just went back to our last save point.
Oh man, what's worse than that though?
You hit that point where you died. You're like,
oh yeah,
oh shit, I remember this.
Oh yeah,
I fucked up again.
But that is one of the theories though, that we're in a simulation because it's like a glitch in the Matrix or whatever. That is part of it. Why we have deja vu. We feel like we already lived it, and we might have just lived it twice, and our mind just glitches out. I don't know.
And there's so many videos, like
weird.
So many videos that say I just caught a glitch in the Matrix. And you can never believe any of it. That's what sucks about this day and age is like they're trying to make you believe certain things. But if you were to watch something live that you can't explain and there's not a camera there to have video proof, no one's gonna believe you. Like it's just like, oh, that's crazy.
Even
at that point, it's just a story.
Like, Photoshop.
Yeah. Oh, or you just remembering it different. Mandela.
God damn.
Connected.
I mean, that's true. I don't know. Have you guys been a part of or witnessed anything crazy like that though that you just can't explain and no one will believe you?
Not that I can remember.
Oh well, we don't want to go down that Erna story. That's the worst story.
It's not even believable.
Yeah. What about you, Steve? Timbo? Yeah, ignore him. We're not going to know.
Yeah, I mean for later. We already went down the Erna path, and it's terrifying and Mandela-ish.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't witnessed anything crazy. Like the craziest thing I've probably heard in my life or been close to someone is Lance Richardson went into a coma and went to heaven. Went to heaven and came and visited his kids and whatnot while he's in his coma, like in his spirit or whatever. Wrote a whole book about it, and then woke up and went and wrote the book and told everyone about it, and crazy. But I mean, he was such a good dude. Like, I don't know. It's just like, okay, well, he believes that 1,000%. And whether it happened or not, I guess, who knows? It's irrelevant. But he believes that. And so could that be just a DMT trip? Or could it be a real thing? And he got a glimpse of, lifted the veil, or got a glimpse of the other side. Like, who really knows? That's probably the craziest thing I've ever heard. And it's very interesting that he would die or go into a coma, go up to heaven, visit like family members or people he knew, and then he would go and he said everyone was like doing all these tasks and all these things and trying to help people. And then when you have that moment where you're just sitting in your chair like, oh shit, I gotta go do this. That's like somebody telling you that, hey, you gotta go do this. And like he tells this story about how he went down and like said, hey, you got a flight at 11:30. I think he told his dad. And then his dad just, oh, I gotta go to my flight, and took off. You know, like just stuff like that. It's very, very weird. You know, and I know Steve knew him a little bit, but
yeah, he was my coach as well.
yeah,
I want to say I read parts of it when I was in high school.
I read parts. I need to read the whole thing. I read like little bits and pieces, and my sisters read it. I don't know, but I should.
Wait, so I don't know the background to it. Like, what's the full background to what happened? You wrote a book about him.
No,
going in a coma.
I don't remember if he got in a car crash or what happened, but
he crashed a dirt bike in the driveway in wintertime and went into a coma.
Yeah. And then in this coma, he went to this, to heaven or whatever, and did all these things. And then when he woke up, he was like, oh shit, that was crazy. He wrote a whole book about it. He's called
How long
Message. He was
that?
in there for months, I think. I want to say like 4 to 6 months, maybe. I don't know if it was long time, but I remember it was a minute.
Damn, so is it? I mean, very extended period of time.
I can't remember. I wish I knew. I wish I knew more details. And
yeah, it was Christmas in '98.
Yeah, and it was.
And he wrecked his bike and went into a coma for several weeks.
Several weeks. Okay.
He woke up, describes his experience in the world of spirits, and delivers message.
Yeah, The Message is the name of the book.
Yeah.
But after he woke up is when he taught us in football, and he's our coach throughout little football shit. And
Till we were done in grade kid, and then he passed away.
Damn.
Yeah. How crazy is that? Think about
of Crohn's disease, I believe.
Yeah, that's right.
So those messages, or
his kids went to school. There's Jared and Jordan and
small guys.
Yeah.
those little fellas.
Oh yeah, Timbo. Yeah, little Baxter. They had the deepest voices of all time.
Oh yeah.
I know. Every time I was like, God.
That explains it.
Yeah,
biggest jaws.
Sports dynasty in Bonneville.
Oh yeah, they're high school, but yeah, that was their dad, and he would experience all this stuff. I mean, he actually in it. Either I remember reading that part, or my sister told me, but like I guess there was all sorts of like different religions in there, just all doing their own thing and helping each other out, and like, because actually my sister might have told me, because I asked her and I was like, well, I don't know what goes on, because we can't just die and just go to some paradise and just lay around, because that's not what we're about. We always have to be growing as humans and learning. We're not being complacent. That's you get whatever, depressive or sad or whatever. You just feel bored. You're doing the same thing, so you have to like grow. And so I think she brought it up, and she was like, well, everyone just kind of did their own thing and went and helped their family members, or like, oh shit, you got a flight you got to go to, or you got to do your homework or whatever. And I don't know, that's kind of what was good. I thought it was super interesting.
I guess that's my biggest question, is like, did it correlate a lot with what he experienced? Like you're saying, to go and catch your flight, like, was there, I guess, not like testimonies or whatever from his family members or people that he visited saying like, oh, like confirming this, or they felt something different when that moment happened? That kind of ties the book into it.
Well, I never talked to Mel about it, his dad, which was one of them. I remember talking to Jared a little bit, and he swears like there's no way his dad could remember something he did at school when his dad, said, I
Was in a
visited you
coma.
and watched this, and he said something. He's like, what? I was, you were in a coma. And who
That's a
knows?
trip.
Maybe it's the Mandela effect. But,
Maybe.
that was one thing that I always thought was super weird, interesting, whatever you want to call it. Like, that stuff goes on or is a thing. And
Yeah, comas in general are just kind of weird. Like,
yeah, you hear like you're living some other life, and then he went to like, heaven and lived this, and then if you met the dude and stuff, you'd be like, no way, he just woke up and made up this story.
yeah,
There's
it's
0%
just not
chance.
true.
Like, he's too good of a dude. There's just 0% chance that would even happen. And that's what I thought was weird, is like thinking back when you're older about that kind of stuff, like where you do have a testimony of your kids or whatever, like how would you know some of the stuff? And it's kind of weird that way. It wasn't like completely different life or had different kids or anything. It was like that shit. So I don't know. Weird.
There's too much evidence to be a coincidence.
Yeah.
Which is by definition almost kind of like proof, but people question just by nature. We always question. We always need like full on proof, and that's what kind of sucks about this time now. Is like there's so much like shit on the internet that like if you had the most definitive proof and you caught it on video and like nothing was altered, hardly anyone would believe you.
Right.
So how do you prove it?
That's the thing, is you can't. And maybe that's how it's supposed to be. Maybe you were never supposed to prove anything, because if you could, then you'd figure it out. And maybe that's just the whole thing. If you figured it out, then if you figured it out, either you figure out that it's a simulation, or if you figure it out, then you would know exactly what's next in your life, and then you'd be like, oh, well, I don't really care. I know what's going on next.
Yeah, I wouldn't care to prove it. I already know it.
Would you guys want to know what would be next? Like, for real, would you guys really want to know what is after this? If somebody said, hey, I will tell you exactly what's after this, but it's going to shatter your mind. And would you want to know?
That's a loaded question, Bert.
Like afterlife? Like what's after this? Like afterlife? Is that what you mean?
Yeah. Like what happens when you die?
Yeah. I want to know. That's something that's always been on my mind.
It's always been on, but if you knew, think of it this way, if you knew what happened after, would you pursue, whatever you're doing in life is hard? Or would you change what you're doing? Or would you be like, you know what? Like, if you found out that there's nothing after this, like, would you keep doing your own thing? Or would you be like, fuck it, I want to live and just do crazy shit because it doesn't even matter after this. I could fucking go and murder whoever or rob banks or, do whatever, Those are very extreme, obviously, but.
Good Lord, Brad, that's what you do.
but if you could know, or maybe it was something you're like, well, because like if you guys, thought about if you could go back and change your past, would you?
Oh, no, man. I don't know that I would change anything about what I'm doing if I knew what was coming. I don't know what's coming. I mean, even if I knew that nothing was coming afterwards, I'd still want to live my life that I have right now. Just live it. And it doesn't matter that there's nothing coming. You gotta live, man. But even if I found out it was something dope, like that's what's coming.
Yeah.
I don't have to change anything.
Don't you think it would? Yeah. You don't think it wouldn't change your perception or motives or anything? I think it would.
Well, I think if you're a dirtbag, you might want to change your attitude, but
even if you're
good, I guess it depends on. Yeah, I guess it depends on what's coming.
If you're already doing good things and striving to be better and trying to help as many people as you can and things like that, why would you need to change?
Well, yeah, but if you knew, and say everyone knew and you knew, if they said, oh, well, the more good things you do, in life, you know, put you further in your afterlife, every single person would be fucking taking out your trash, sweeping your fucking lawn. Just for that, I think it would change a lot of motives in you. I don't think you'd do it for the right reasons. Just to be a good person, you'd do it, be like, I want to get better in life. I want to get higher. And you'd be fucking just getting everyone's mail. And you know what I mean? I think it would change a lot of motives.
What if it was opposite, though?
Good or bad, though.
But to that effect, if the motives are only for that and not being helpful and good, wouldn't it have the reversed effect? So it'd be a false,
yeah,
not a correct, or not the right thing.
The intentions would be wrong.
Yeah, the intentions.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think it would corrupt a lot of people who think they're doing good, and they're actually just doing it for the wrong reasons.
Well, I think the biggest shakeup that it would have would be like the religious, strongly religious, going to church every Sunday, doing everything for that religion. If you knew and then it had nothing to do with religion, and then everyone was going to end up in the same spot, and then why are you trying to achieve these tiers or,
this spot,
make this God happy?
Yeah,
when
he is
doesn't even
right-hand
exist.
man.
I mean, I think that's the biggest thing it would shake up is like your beliefs that you've been living your whole life in. If you found out that wasn't it at all, it would completely rattle you, because then it's like, well, everything I've done my whole life so far, at least that I know of, has been generally, I go to work, do all this stuff, but I devote this much of my being to a higher power and for this level of, going to heaven or whatnot.
Yeah.
And then if you find out that's all bullshit and just doesn't exist, then it's going to be like, there goes your core values.
Yeah,
a lot of what you do.
It would shake up everything, but honestly, I feel like that wouldn't be a terrible thing, because a lot of people that I know are like super, hey, this is the only way, this is the right way. And I feel like they, like a lot of super duper religious people, not all of them, but a lot, like over the top, do it for the wrong reasons. I feel like they do it so they'll get a better spot or whatever. I feel like they already do that, and so.
Yeah. So for most people, I don't think anything would change.
But if that was the case, I feel like it would make more people do that who weren't super religious, I
think the people you're talking about there, I think they're the most susceptible to going to the opposite direction about it then, and just being like, well, fuck this. If this is all I'm going to end up being, and this is predetermined, then it doesn't matter if I do this. It doesn't matter if I take out my anger, my hate in this way. I'm going to end up here anyway.
Right. Well, let me ask you guys this. What's the best way to learn something?
By failing.
All right.
Well,
not bad.
You learn from your mistakes.
That's failure
in action.
You what?
Action. Taking action.
Right. Yeah. Action, failure, whatever. But in school, they try to make you sit down for fucking 8 hours and teach all this stuff. Some things you learn, some things you don't. But, life experience is probably the best teacher. But think of that as like life, though. Like, if somebody told you, hey, this is the only way to go, would you actually learn or care? Or if nobody tells you and you just have to figure it out the fucking yourself, then you probably learn a fucking lot. Not everyone, but I don't know. I think that's why things are so mysterious in life, because whatever, whoever, any of that, probably the best teacher is just figuring it the fuck out for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I guess the big thing would be like what the answer is. If you had, the answer to what happens afterwards, if the answer was, you're just going to kind of float around and do whatever, or if the answer was, this is the best life you're going to get, man. It sucks after this. Trust me. Or if it's better than this, like if it was just a flat line, just this is your only life here to make your own choices and do whatever you want, then it kind of changed the way you did things. Because if you didn't make it, where you're going to end up. So might as well take your free will and do whatever the hell you want for rather than a predetermined what's going to happen to me.
I mean, that's what I try to do. You know, everybody, well, I get one shot. You know, you guys know me. You get one
We
shot.
know you, buddy.
Know?
YOLO.
Yeah, well, I don't say it like that. Jake actually stole that from me, but then he made a song about it. It became famous.
But you know, it was my saying.
Yeah. Anyway. But I mean, I don't know. I guess that's part of the reason why I try to think that. I mean, whether or not it's true or happens, but we know that we get one shot here, like as me, as this person. I do know that. You know, whether or not my conscious transfers or whatever, like as myself, you get one shot. There's only one, you know, Steve and P and Timbo. There's not another one of you out there. Like
not this universe, maybe a parallel one, but
right, man, maybe. But we do know that though, and we do know everybody dies. So whether or not you get reincarnated or you remember or your conscious transfers or whatever, that's why I try to keep you there because we get one shot. So am I gonna live it up or am I gonna fucking man? You know, and I try to do that. It helps. Yeah.
Yeah. Meh, cat.
Yeah, I say. So I don't know. I think it's all very interesting though with whether or not you know. Let me ask you guys this. If you guys could live forever, would you?
Hell no. Hell no.
Oh. Okay. How come?
Probably not.
There's no way in hell. I'd get so bored. Be so bored, and then you'd have to go through. I mean, you go through an entire life of guilt and things that you've done wrong, and all the pain and like stuff you go through. Now imagine that never stops and never has an ending to it.
Yeah, but there's
Opposite
a new
side.
day to correct it. You could always turn her around, come back. Everyone loves a good underdog.
Oh, I mean, we're not on the swing set, buddy, so I'll continue.
Red Rover.
Would just you live forever, or would everybody? You know, like
just you.
You talking Highlander here? Like
yeah,
you
Highlander.
live forever till something cuts off your head?
Yes,
we're talking too much death around you, though.
I'd do that then, definitely.
Because you could cut off your head.
No, because I mean, it'd be a challenge. You have a defense, like always. You'd always be on your toes. You'd never have, like, you know, you'd enjoy everything more because you never know when that would happen. But you would enjoy more of it because you would experience different things.
Yeah.
I would definitely be Highlander if that's what you're asking. Yes.
Mean, if you had a sick ponytail, then yeah.
This Highlander's got a beard.
Well, yeah,
well, you can tie it in a pony.
Yeah. I mean, that wouldn't be bad, but you know, with the living forever, I guess. I don't know. I there would have to be some end point, right? If you just live forever, then
forever.
I don't know
forever,
what
man.
would be the point. Then it's infinity, and you're just here.
Like Buzz Lightyear.
That's why they're talking about. Well, dude, they're talking about augmented reality, and once they try to figure out consciousness, you can transfer it to like digital, so you live forever in the computer or whatever, or the metaverse or whatever the fuck. I bet you a lot of people do it, but I will not be one of them. Even if it was seamless and there was no flaws, like I don't know if I would want to be here forever. I would want to figure out what after this because I'm already interested. I'm fucking 32 years old. I'm already interested in the stars and life after death and what happens after this. Like I would drive myself insane.
Yeah, but you're thinking about forever as time is now. Imagine you live forever and then shit happens and you're back with the dinosaurs and you're getting hunted every day, eaten every day. And then what? Like you're just in a constant horror. Like if you had to live through that time, but you're stuck living that shit ass life and in fear all the time, and you're stuck in that forever.
Yeah. I mean, even now,
there's one way to look at it.
I don't know. Even now, like I think any point in time would be terrible because, I mean, I just don't think that you'd have any urgency or anything, you'd never want to do anything because you'd be like, oh, there's always tomorrow. There's this, there's that.
Yeah.
You never get anything done. You'd be like, fuck it. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow.
I think
I got forever.
You're
At some
fat for
point,
2,000 years.
You've done everything already at some point. If you live forever, you're just gonna get bored.
Yeah.
You've
What if
done
you guys could
everything,
live
you've seen
2,000
everything.
years?
Oh, now we're shortening it up.
Wait, what if we could what now?
Live 2,000 years.
Nah.
Like from this point right now,
Sure.
I'd probably do it. I'd want to see how far we could advance. That's something that I would love to see how far we could advance as a species. And I like to watch a lot of sci-fi stuff, and so I think it'd be really cool to see if one day we could fucking travel the universe and travel through galaxies and to other galaxies and see what's out there.
What if you do that when you die?
That'd be fucking dope. I'd be down for that.
And you're just delaying it 2,000 years.
Just live 2,000 years. It doesn't happen. You die.
You get hit.
Heaven's full, buddy. You live too long. I mean,
You can just fast forward when you die and see what happens. Just all big simulation.
dude. But what if you came out of the Matrix, like Neo or whatever, took off a headset? Like, how much would your mind be blown? Like, you'd be flooded with so many emotions. It would be unreal.
I think the biggest thing you'd feel is like betrayal, right?
Yeah, seriously. I was going to say.
You feel
Probably.
betrayed,
Yeah.
right?
By a video
everything.
game or by
yourself,
headset.
by
your mind.
everybody around you. Like you just feel betrayal.
Well, you'd have to figure out who the fuck you were. Like, because obviously
Your
this
memories
isn't
would
who
clash,
you've
right?
been. Like, it's like, well, exactly who am I?
Would you
And do I
question
believe that
reality?
now? Yeah, I was gonna say, do you believe that now?
Yeah.
Like, or are you just gonna, stop the videotape again? Videotape. Jesus,
I'll just put the shit back on.
Oh yeah, just hit play again, man. I can't take it.
Yeah, I'm done. Yeah, put it back on.
Well, what if it went away like a dream? Like
Well,
maybe a little bit longer of a dream, like if you're like, holy fuck, I just live 80 years. Like Inception or whatever.
Well,
but
if that was the case, then you'd have to write down or tell your biggest the most important things you learned, so that the next time you went through it, you were prepared for it, right? Or you could use them in your life on the spaceship, whatever, I don't know, whatever.
what if it's like Inception, right? Because he was down there living with his girl for 100 years, died, and then came back, and he's fucking 30 again or whatever.
Spoiler alert.
Watch the movies, buddy. Jesus Christ. That movie's like fucking.
That was a terrible spoiler.
I had that on my to-do list, man. I was gonna watch that tonight.
15 years late, Jesus.
I'm trying to watch that tonight, man.
Oh, God damn,
man, what a
dude.
bummer. There goes my weekend.
Shit. You'll fill it up.
You don't know which lady he's living with, whatever.
Oh,
No spoilers, really.
sorry to all you Mayans listening.
Terrible summary.
But
I
for those of you who have
audience.
seen it or haven't, but yeah, basically he goes into his mind or whatever and lives there, lives a full life, and then he, wakes up and it's like a dream, but he remembers it, and his, wife still thinks she's in a, it's a different reality or whatever. Or she's in a dream where she woke up. She wants to go back to it. Right? Like, I think that would happen, but I don't know. Or what if it's just like the Matrix? Like, you just woke up and some fucking thing is harvesting all of our energy because we're, I don't know,
A battery.
yeah, we're like a big fucking battery. Like, isn't everything like run off like voltage or like, power.
Yeah.
Mm.
We all have
It's all like matter and just different matter. And,
electricity going through us at all times. Yeah.
Yeah, we're very.
That's why they're plugged in the matrix, because they're producing it.
Yeah, right. What if people are just harvesting like that? What if you woke up into that? That'd be fucking wild. And we're just here, fucking like, oh, well, I want to be cool.
What if you woke up and you were back to your earliest memory, starting your life over again, and you already saw it all happen? Would you just be like, wait, the hell? I gotta do fucking first grade all over again? What's going on? Son of a
you'd be a kid though, and you'd be like, what a weird dream.
That's like the butterfly effect with the old Ashton Kutcher.
Mm-hmm. It's good, sir. Mandela.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I mean, you from the East Coast?
I don't
know. Go on. I don't know.
I'm sorry.
You can go back and change the events, and then when he wakes up, his life's different, and he has all the different memories, but he remembers his other memories too. Yeah, like that'd be
kind of weird, because like some memories you would change, and like hard shit that you didn't want to go through, if you did change it, it completely changed the path of your life. And then now you don't know your now wife. You don't have your now kids. Yeah. Like, just because you're going to end up missing them, but then you can't go back and change that again. So that never existed to you.
So would you go back?
Would be a hard memory. No. Yes.
I don't know if you could really go back and change anything, because you might think you'd want to, but unless you hate who you are, then I don't think you could, because you wouldn't be the same person. You'd change one thing and it would change everything. You'd be a different person. Like even if you woke up and didn't remember what happened in the past and you just woke up as a new person, like I don't know. I still think that would be a tough one, because I don't know. People make mistakes, but
how would you know?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you wouldn't, but I don't know.
I feel like you'd probably try and go make that happen if it was something where you woke up from a coma and you lived your entire life, and that's something that you miss and you loved, and you probably go try and hunt that life down. Maybe that's how you do it. You change what you do in life to get to that point again. Maybe you go hunt down that woman that was your wife and try to find her.
I mean, yeah.
You know that's where you were happy. And
yeah. I mean,
God damn it, it's a fucking trip.
And then you saw her with her now husband and pisses you off. Yeah. And then all of a sudden you're just raging.
And then you're in jail.
You see your kid and it's their kid. What the fuck?
Yeah. But I guess at that point, Timbo, I mean, that's why I don't know if anyone would really change who they are or whatever, because you can still make that happen, like right now. You could change everything right now and go find that one true love. Every person in the world right now, you could drop whatever you're doing and be like, I need to find her. You just make a decision to do it. Right? I mean, you don't have to change everything about your past to be like, oh, if I was in this spot and I had that one drink that I botched and, God damn, I should have said hi and I never said hi. You know, like you could still go back and say, I know. That's why I don't know if people would change. Maybe I'm wrong. But
so you got to look forward. Learn from your past, but move forward, because there's only one direction things are moving. Your favorite band, but it's forward.
Yes, you have to though. I think, because I mean, for one, we can't go back and change anything. You know, you can only figure out whatever the fuck happened and why you feel some type of way, and figure some shit out and go get it. It's the only thing you can do. So, might as well. You can't go change it. You can't live forever. And all these theories we delve into, maybe the simulation's real, but as of right now, until you die, you can't change shit. and you don't know. So I don't know. That's why I love YOLO.
Well, we know, buddy. It's your song.
Finally said it.
I know. First fucking
Finally
time,
said it. Hell yeah.
'cause
Gave in.
I know it's the worst. But real though, I mean, I don't know. You try it out. No matter what. Simulation, no simulation, reincarnation, one life, no afterlife, whatever the fuck. You get one shot. I don't know.
Damn, we're going Eminem now? You trying to take all the songs?
I'm trying, man. I got vomit.
I know you do. That's mom's spaghetti, buddy.
I know. He hasn't been around for years, buddy. Could have been hers.
That was an old sweater.
Hey, how's this still fit me? I was 5.
Well, that was a doozy. I
Yeah.
don't even know this conversation happened.
Went from Mandela to simulations.
Did you call it?
Did I call it?
No, we can definitely wrap her up though.
Oh no, I just didn't know. No,
I was just saying in general, we touched on all sorts of things.
Yeah.
But I mean, we could even dive deeper into it. That's the crazy thing about this. Like, there's so many things that come into play when you touch on like simulation, and I mean that even brushes on religion, Mandela Effect, like all those. I feel like are one big web that kind of tie together. But I mean, I think it's healthy because that way it's not just one line of this is right, this is what it is, this is exactly how it goes. It kind of gives your mind, free will to kind of explore possibilities.
Yeah.
But when people take it extreme and go, this is what it is, this is how it is, that's when you got your blinders on.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree 100%. That's one of the reasons I'm not a big fan of religion, because I feel like it's so narrow of a road. Like, hey, do this, this, this. There's no like thinking for yourself or like questioning anything. Like, no, well, it just works in a mysterious way. Just figure, just believe it. And it's just like, well, why can't I think? Like, I'm me and my brain's fucking curious as fuck. You don't have any answers for me, and I feel like that builds your curiosity and makes you go and try to figure some shit out. Maybe you find out a different answer, but still, I don't know. I like it. Because, if you're just thinking that it's just one way, then I don't know. I don't think that that's the best way.
It's tough because you even think about like the way people think, even if it's not like tied to religion, but someone's so dead set on this aspect, whether it be, parenting, or you can't do it this way or this way or this way because this is how it should be. And you're like, well, no, like that's not how I think about it. Like, have you thought about the way I'm thinking about this? And it's just, you're wrong. Instant, you're wrong. That's the type of attitude that I hate. Like the non-open mindedness to even look at my side of it. It drives me nuts because you can't talk to those people because you're always going to be wrong no matter what, unless you agree with them. And then you're right.
Yeah.
And that's the time.
And I think that's why religion's so tricky is,
Yeah, there's definitely the hardcore, I'm going to stick to what's in the book, what's in the writing, and I'm not going to steer from that because that's what I believe. And the only people that they're going to get along with are the people who think the same way. When you go to people who are religious and are still like completely accepting and open-minded, they might not believe that what you're doing is right, but they still, accept you and, do what you do. That's fine. I'm not going to make you think this, but they're cool with it. Even though in the back of their mind, like, oh, this fucker's going to hell. What is he doing?
Yeah.
But still, it's like
a Pepsi.
Oh, on a Sunday?
Oh, shit. Oh, good Lord.
I don't know. This is one that kind of goes hand in hand with religion and the Mandela effect. Like growing up in our area, like I remember when LDS kids could not drink pop.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then just one day they all just started guzzling Mountain Dew.
Tweaked a little bit so they could.
Fucking every color there was. It didn't matter. Mountain Dew was king, and it happened overnight.
Over fucking night, dude. Now they're fucking banging each other in their armpits.
Yeah.
Like overnight.
Started with Mountain Dew.
With his friend jumping on the bed.
Yeah, dude, now they're banging armpits, bro. It's fucking weird shit. They're docking inside. They don't move, but kick the bunk below me, please.
They know what's up.
That's called soaking.
See, God, I'm not actually moving. My buddy's just kicking the blow. Oh shit.
I'm sorry, that's my car's hydraulics.
Yeah.
We got catch rudders going on here.
Yeah. Sorry, he just made your buddy come. So quit it.
Is that gay?
You're just working my arm, dude. You're not working.
Oh, stop closing my fist. What are you doing?
Yeah, dude. See, that's the thing. I mean, religious or not, I mean, nothing against, whoever. You can think whatever you want. But, like, for me, when you look at it as like as like a whole, all like the religions, they have something very similar stories, maybe a little different. But if you look at it and whether you believe, Christian or Jesus, whatever, a lot of them have Jesus in them, whether he's like the main or whatever. But if you look in any of them, it's so funny because they all speak in fucking metaphors. Like half of the stories are metaphors. So it's your interpretation of the metaphor. So who says that your way is the right way? Or, if you listen to like some sayings or these stories, like they're like metaphors, you know what I mean? They're not like, hey, you
just to seem like.
Yeah, and who knows, maybe like these commandments or whatever, in the Bible you're supposed to live by.
Timbo.
Maybe they're just like some guidelines and they mixed up like, commandment with another word, maybe got misinterpreted. Like, hey, these are some guidelines for you to be happy. And someone's like, no, this is exactly what you have to do. If you think otherwise, you're gone. You're out of the village.
I mean, there's nothing really on there that's not like out of the order, like they're all pretty good things.
Yeah, they're all good stories. Yeah, and
I mean the 10 Commandments. I mean, it's not like they're asking you to do shitty things. It's all pretty good stuff. Like, don't be an asshole.
Yeah,
they just said it different.
Right?
Check. All right, doing good. It's like your to-do list in life. It's like your naughty list. Oh, I don't want to be on Santa's naughty list, or else I'm not going to go to heaven.
That's another one, but my kids might be awake, so let's not talk about Santa.
All right.
Now.
All right.
Well,
Santa, but Jesus, he's on.
Jesus, let's talk about Jesus.
Yeah, but I guess to your point is I'm kind of with you there, P, on like people are so stuck in their ways or have no open mind, like they won't even try to question it because it's something that they read or learned as a kid. Like, I think there's too much of that. I whether you believe something or not, cool, or found out something, but I just think it's never good to close off your mind in general to anything certain.
Yeah.
Like this has to be the way because people are coming out with better ways, creating a better mousetrap, so to speak, all the time. That's how we get better phones, better graphics, better. I mean, Discord. Who could do this fucking 10 years ago? Or
what's hard is when you run across someone who's so close-minded, but it's like a family member that you love and you've grown up with them, and then you realize the situation, and you cannot change their opinion because they've formed that opinion, and that's just the way it is. Yep. But you still have a blood love connection with them, And so that's where disappointment comes in. You don't want to disappoint them. You know it's going to disappoint them if you do, XYZ, but you just choose to, I don't believe the same thing you do, so I'm not going to let you know I do this. And if you did, to everyone else, it's not a big deal. But to them, it would, hurt their feelings. So you choose to just hide it from them. And if they find out, it's bad.
Wow.
And that sucks because you want to kind of open their eyes to the way you think, but that's not the way they think.
No, but that's one of the reasons I try to have conversations. Like, I want to have conversations about it with, some family members or some close people. Like, I'm like, tell me what you think and I'll combat it and we'll have a conversation because, not answering my question or having no backup for it or, nothing for it or not even like a verse or something that will come after what I say. Like, there's none of it. It's just always like, well, I don't believe that. I don't want to talk about it. I'm like, well, fucking why not?
Here's the hard thing. So growing up your whole life, let's just say random scenario. Your parents are this way. They're stuck in their ways and greatest people. You love them to death, but you know that if you were to share with them something you did or a way of your life, that they would kind of turn their back and look at you differently. And that disappointment is going to kick in and change your relationship. Like, I think that's where a lot of religious struggle comes in, that they don't want to even cross that bridge. So that's where a lot of people will put up a front. I'm just saying, I'm going to act this way. And even though they probably know, it's just given the appearance that I'm doing this to make them happy and keep this relationship because I love this person. And I don't want them out of my life, but they could potentially be out of my life if I let them know this and this about me.
Yeah, but I mean, I hear what you're saying, but you don't think that you would be happier yourself if you let them know? I mean, for instance, you were like, hey, Mom, I love going to strip clubs. I love putting my titties in their face, or they're putting their titties in my face and motorboating the shit out of me.
Damn, Brad.
Do you think that, and that was like a shameful thing, like, think they would love you less? I don't know. I mean, I know it's like a weird random scenario, but
it's really weird. I think it's just years of kind of trying to mold a kid into your beliefs, and you're trying to have them believe in that too. Even just a way of you thinking, and then when they have their own free will, like, you'd like to think that you have acceptance and be like completely okay, but not everyone is like that, especially when it comes to something so strict as religion and what you've been taught. So then when that gets questioned, it's just like they take it as like, oh, I failed, I did something wrong.
well,
I mean, it's just a
that's why
weird
knowledge
hard
is power, bro. Knowledge is power, and if you can study whatever and just like you were saying, I think, I don't know, a couple times ago, P, about, well, okay, well, have you ever try to look at the other side of whatever you believe in, like politics or whatever the case is? If you believe this, maybe look at the other side, see what they're doing, see what's happening. I think it's smart, but I think that applies for a lot of things in life, though, because if you think of it the other way, I mean, you might even get more ammo because you already know what they're gonna ask you or they're gonna say, and you can figure it out, or it might change your opinion. And that goes for all things in life, not just religion, or I don't know. You could find different things.
Let's just say in a false reality right now, that if your dad found out that you drank and you knew that he would not accept it and possibly cut ties with you, would you let him know, given your relationship with your dad and how close you are?
I mean, I feel like, to be honest, I feel like I'd have to, because I feel like it would make me be so fake right? Like if I had to be around him and I was fake towards him, like to me that would be a fake relationship, and we wouldn't have that same bond anymore. I mean, I feel like I'm pretty open to him. I don't tell everything, but if he asks, or I don't try to hide a lot of things. But I mean, from anyone in my life, really. But like, I don't know, if I had to like sit and fake my relationship, be like, nah, Dad, I never drank and I'm getting, sauced up every night. Like, to me, that would be a lot kind of a fake sort of relationship because it wouldn't be you. I mean, it would be you, but it would be like I don't know, what am I trying to say? Not like a false you, but like
Not filtered.
Filtered.
Like a filtered version of yourself.
Yeah. And I mean, I feel like everyone kind of does that, right? Like a little bit,
like this,
but
it'd be like a censored version of your rap album.
But I feel like there's
everybody wears masks.
Yeah, and that's true.
Yeah.
But I feel like, if it's something that you do all the time and you're like, hey, this is, whatever, and you lie about it, I guess it's something that you do all the time, and like it would make it just disingenuous, especially if it's like a big part of your life. Like if you're, I don't know, if you're out drinking every night and you're partying and having a good time, and then you're like, I was like, look at these clowns drinking every fucking night, and pissing you off, and then you're like, shit, that's me. Fuck.
Yeah. When you're doing it too, you're gonna be thinking about that. You're not gonna be as happy. You're not gonna have as much fun doing that.
Yeah.
You'll just be thinking about, damn, disappointing my dad right now.
Right. And I think, yeah, you're right, Steve. Like everyone kind of wears a little bit of a mask at some point, because whatever. I mean, to a point, but for like big things like that where you feel like shameful and stuff, I feel that's might be a line. Maybe. Thoughts?
It's kind of hard. I mean,
because where
I
you
don't
feel
want to go
shame
too.
maybe would be, I don't know. Maybe that, I don't know. That's maybe a line.
Yeah, it's just where we grew up. I mean, you see a lot of that, and there's a lot of stuff behind people's backs because the family raised them this type of way, and so naturally you think of that person because their family and all their relatives, and they seem to be just straight as an arrow. And then next thing you know, you're at a party and you see this person that you've had this, idea of who they are, and they're the craziest motherfucker you've ever met, or they're the wildest chick you've ever met. And you're like, holy shit, I didn't know. And they're just like, oh yeah, don't tell my brother, don't tell my sister, all this stuff. And then that image is they just want to keep that image just because they don't want to change how they're viewed in their families or their, even their cousins. Like they just don't want that out, because they know it'll ruin their lives.
Right. Well,
but that it's like it strips away your individuality.
Right. I mean, picture this, dude. What if we found out that Timbo was banging hookers like 5 days a week? Getting
Timbo.
nasty, doing cocaine right out their asshole. Like how much different would you really look at him? Like you'd be like, oh shit, Timbo, he might get a little wild, but would you be like, fucking Timbo, you're gone. Yeah, fucking. How could you do that?
That's just, I think that's the fear aspect, because a lot of people probably could do that and have that same response, just like, that's fine. I completely understand that. And some people are just afraid of the worst case scenario of being shunned, or that's the end of my relationship with my dad or my mom. I guess with the hookers. I mean, that relationship keeps going as long as you keep getting paid, Timbo. Keep plugging, buddy.
Plugging up. Yeah, I guess it would probably have to. I don't know. Let's think about it this way. What if it had to change your moral shit? Like if you knew it was wrong and you kept doing it, then maybe, if you told someone, maybe you'd change. But if you were like, no, I'm just living it up. I'm being me. There's nothing wrong with me smoking a little weed, having some beers. Just because you don't fucking like it doesn't mean I need to change. Or or the fact if you knew something and you're secretly fucking Dexter killing everybody and you knew it was kind of wrong.
Well, yeah. But I mean, even on small scales of just like, I guess just the constant like family disappointment. You're gonna be the family disappointment because you do this, this, and this, and you kind of you stand your ground to a point, but then at the same time, it's you almost get over it and just kind of play into it, just to not cause so much rifts in the water. Like, at what point does that become just I'm not gonna do that anymore? And like, are you willing to take those consequences?
Yeah, I mean,
I feel like you should, because as a person, I think you'd feel like almost free, like a big weight lifted off your shoulder, because you're constantly thinking about it.
yeah, and to that point, I think there's a line between like blood family and like married family or whatever, because you're whether people things or not or whatever. Like, I don't know. I guess not every single case, maybe, but like your dad or your mom, they're always gonna love you, and you're always gonna have like a little bit of love. But you have a girlfriend or whatever, and she finds out some shit about you, she might not fucking like you anymore, or whatever. And like, you could say, hey, girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever, I did this, but then you tell your dad that he doesn't give a fuck, or your mom, but your girlfriend does, or vice versa. But I don't know. I think there's a little bit of a line, because like family maybe is more forgiving or always be around, I guess, because they're still your blood and still a part of your life, where, you could have a girlfriend or boyfriend or get divorced or whatever, and they're gone, So there's like a little bit of a difference. You guys think?
Well, I mean, I kind of think it depends on what it is that that they're finding out about you. I mean,
well, let's just say like if you were cheating like on your husband or your wife, and you told your dad that, he probably wouldn't disown you, but your wife or your husband would.
Yeah, I mean, then again, they could react just the same. That's it's all about
But I don't know if they'd leave you, right?
Moral compass.
Yeah, but I don't know if your parents would leave you. This is all I'm saying. I mean, yeah, just random scenario, whatever. I mean, it could be anything. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, family is family. They're gonna stick with you, but it does kind of depend on what you're doing. If you're like murdering fucking little kids, I think my parents would probably be like, "Oh, you're a piece of shit. Go rot in fucking prison."
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
But
think they
if
wouldn't
I'm-
rat you out as much as like your girlfriend would or whatever. Your boyfriend.
Yeah, maybe they might not give that tip, but
Yeah, it depends on their moral compass as well, because they might see something as more
acceptable.
virtuous or something like that than the relationship with you.
Like,
Yeah.
I can't associate
keep
myself
such
with that.
a level of honesty that if they find out that you're lying, they can never look at you the same way again. It all depends on each person's individual beliefs and moral, like I said, moral compass.
Yeah, I mean that's a very good point. I didn't think of it too much that way.
It's weird. You don't really think about it too much, because naturally you're gonna kind of, yeah, you're just gonna assume. But then, I mean, you look at it you relate the question typically to your family dynamic and how you've been raised. Someone who heard what we were talking about could completely be like, "Oh, there's no way I would ever say anything to my parents, because they would disown me, and they know that."
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
So they're like, "No, you're so our thinking patterns are so different, because I'm gonna hide that shit to my grave."
Yep.
And then something so simple could just be like, oh yeah, I could, I could tell my old man that, or I could tell my mom that, or family member, and they would never think differently of me. And that's how you would want it to be, because that's, blood and family. But when it's just not like that, like that's the kind of world that's just kind of weird. The
Perception.
us four, I assume that we don't live in that type of space, but I mean, there's plenty of people out there who are terrified of telling any news to their family members because of XYZ, whether it be religion or just their, politics stance, anything like that. Like, it could just be like, oh, yeah, I have no problem. You're not that important to me now. Change the way they think about you.
Yeah. Do you guys think that like becoming more mature or older plays a little bit of factor, like on yourself or whoever's telling that to somebody? Like, I don't know. I used to not want to tell my dad that I dipped for a long time. I knew he didn't like it or whatever. And I think he saw me do it once and he's like, what is that? No, I just throw it in because I don't give a fuck. Like, listen, old man, I fucking work hard, do what I want.
Your old man told me not to dip.
Yeah. All right. He listened. At least that night.
Yeah, I still haven't told him.
Yeah, but
he's a big guy.
Oh, Jesus. I know. Sometimes I'm like, is that gout clearing up, buddy? I'm gonna pick my battles. Wait till then. That's a crippler. But do you guys think that like maturity or anything plays a factor of like that type of shit where maybe you won't tell them when you're younger, but when you get older and more mature, you're like, man, fuck it, I don't care anymore.
Well, I mean, I think that depends on the relationship. If your relationship with your dad or that family member is stronger, then yeah, you could probably tell them and they'd understand or be more understanding. But if that relationship is still distant and it's not, doesn't have a solid base, I mean, I don't think your level of maturity matters. I think it's the maturity of the relationship.
And you're like, how strong it, like, I don't give a shit if he finds out now. Like, could be bitter. Yeah. Like, oh, this is almost like good. I can rub this in mother or dad's face and just be like, fuck it, I don't care. Then it could have the opposite effect. You say that to him thinking it's going to be like hurtful, or be like, oh, look, you don't have control over how I think anymore. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, I already knew. Like, I don't care. And then you could look at it completely different. It's just weird how you, like, there's certain little things that you'll think about, especially with family, like, oh, like, even when it comes to like small things, like you want to present like you're doing well in life, or you don't need, even your house looks tidy when family comes over. Like, little things like that is just you just think about, because you think about how someone else is going to take that and be like, oh, Josh is doing good. I mean, look at his yard. He's cleaned it nice. His house is nice. He's got this, and this. Must be doing well. All those little things just is almost like a buildup of just, I kind of go back
big
to
old
like
backyard.
want to make him proud.
Yeah. Is that,
Like,
you think that's where a lot of it stems from? Is you're just disappointing them? Because I know that's a big thing, and a lot of it. Nobody wants to disappoint their friend or their whoever. Like, oh, well, I should have done better, but maybe that's what people are saying. Like, the maturity comes in, too.
Yeah, because your mom or dad could know that, hey, no matter what you do, I'm gonna think the same way about you. I mean, that's just a relationship that you kind of have to grow into, because naturally as kids, you don't want to disappoint your dad or disappoint your mom. As you get older, it's like different levels of disappointment. Like, things are different. Like, what will disappoint them will be completely different than when you were a kid.
100%. And I don't know about you guys, but for me, like, the the more I get older and figure out who I am, the less I care about what other people think or my family and stuff. And that's just me knowing, I guess, who I am and still knowing that I'm figuring it out and I'm going to fail and I'm going to fucking make mistakes. And, I know dipping and drinking isn't good for me and I still do it. Yes. And, I do, other things. It's not perfect. And I know that, but it's still me. And I feel like I'm a good person and I have a pretty good grasp on who I am. I'm still figuring out, still growing and still figuring it out. But like, I guess my give a fuck goes down because when you look at everyone else, I'm like, you guys don't have it all figured out either. Like you can't, you might judge me and think this way, but do you really know? And do you really, unless you've been through exact scenario or really, really, really similar, you don't really know. But then if you did, you probably wouldn't judge the dude anyway. And so I guess realizing those things, I'm just like, hey, I kind of like what I like and I'm willing to try and figure things out. But, I don't know if it's my give a fuck gets less or just me knowing.
Tolerance.
And maybe it's tolerance. Maybe I'm just knowing who I am and I'm like, well, this is me. So like if I try to change that or hide that, I'm like, well, what's the point? So I can save their preservation of who they think I am, or do I want them to know the real me? I guess those are some of the things I think about.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good definition of maturity. Really is just growing into who you are and not giving a fuck. I mean, who says what maturity is? Just acting right, acting normal, or just acting like yourself.
Yeah,
knowing who you are. And, I mean, I guess I don't know. I guess
figuring
that's
it out.
yeah, figuring it out, not giving a fuck. Because I mean, you can't just be childish your whole life and say you're mature because that's who you want to be. But
Yeah,
figuring out life, not really giving a fuck what other people think about you, and just doing your thing, living your life.
right. Because at the end of the day, you die by yourself, motherfuckers,
You're born by yourself.
and you die by
Die
yourself.
by yourself.
Born alone, die alone. Yep.
Yeah.
Or as my mom said, I brought you into this world. I can take you out.
Yeah. That was the last
You crazy
words
bitch,
I
though.
said to her. Or she said yeah.
A wild Indian.
But I don't know. I think that's why old people, dude. You look at old people and, grandparents are in, I don't know, what do you call them? Old people's homes or retirement homes? Whatever the fuck you call them. But they don't give a fuck. They're grumpy as fuck or they're like, nah, fuck that. I think they just know who they are. Maybe they just quit giving a fuck because they know they're going to die. But it's a
people
combination.
people associate maturity with age too. So
I mean, they do and life experiences, but I mean,
I think there's a level. Like,
yeah, there's still the grandma
maturity
who
with
won't
age.
offend anyone. They're super too nice and like, I just don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. There are those people too, but I don't know if that's considered maturity or not, or maybe that's just know who they are. They can't accept them being rude. I don't know.
I mean, there's some rude grandmas out there.
I mean, that's true. But there's also some super nice ones like, oh no, I just could never.
Just the good old fashioned lady you could take your day out on.
Oh yeah, he just had a rough day, kids.
Those angels.
Let him be. Oh, yeah. Bill Burr, your mom was a saint.
Oh yeah. Where are those angels?
Oh yeah.
You can just go and blow out the lines on.
Yeah. Yeah. Who wants meatloaf?
Oh yeah. Eee.
Meatloaf.
Oh, man. It's the more we do this podcast is the more I think how funny life is. Like just in general, like even if the bad or the good or whatever, like how funny it is, like just the Mandela effect in general. Like how funny life is. That's even like a thing, whether it's real or not. How wild and crazy and funny it is that that's even a thing, and like even I don't know, even how much things play like a factor in our lives that you have no idea, but it's part of your daily life. Whether that's your phone or the music you listen to, how much it can just sway your mood or keep you in the mood, or get you pumped up or give you the courage to ask a girl out or go and boogie on the dance floor or not give a fuck about something or get you through a breakup. Like how crazy these things are and how funny it is that a beat and some words by somebody else will, give you that type of sway or emotional courage or whatever you want to call it. Like, how crazy is that kind of stuff, It's when you think about things.
It's when you sit, I mean, the times that you have the best, like when you don't take things so seriously. And then shit that you take seriously and you look back on, you're like, what the fuck was I doing? Like, why did I let that situation influence my emotions so much that I acted this way? And then the times that you just are carefree and have fun, it's like those are the good memories.
Right.
But it's hard not to let it consume you.
Yeah.
And let shit take over.
Or why are you talking about the good or the bad or both?
Well, I'm talking primarily bad. Like just think about a situation when you're in the worst. I mean, in that moment, you think it's the worst possible situation that could happen to you.
True.
And you are just so down. But then you fast forward your life 6 months later and you look back on that. You don't look back on it with the same emotions you had at that time. You're going through hell and you're having a shitty time. But when you think about it, you're like, oh, well, I'm here. This is what happened since then. You think I could, well, you don't want to do it again, but I could survive that again. And at that time, you're just like, nope, this is the worst thing that could possibly happen to me. I'm in a bad spot. I don't care. And now you're in a great spot. You had plenty of memories that happened since then.
Yeah.
And it's no big deal. I've had that plenty of times.
Yeah, when it feels like the end of the world. And
life keeps getting better.
Mm-hmm.
And
Just give it a chance.
That's what family, and I mean, that's why, I don't know, Steve Harvey, my boy, he said, along with the other bunch of people, but they always say, like, you got to fail. Otherwise, you don't learn and you can't grow and be who you need to be. But that's why one of my favorite quotes is from Kobe. He says, oh, well, I think it's the end of the world, blah, blah, blah. People are ashamed of you, whatever. Well, you're not that important. Not yet. Not until you become great. That's one of my favorite things he's ever said. Because, if you feel like it's the end of the world, it's probably not that important. Right now. And, and what are the great heroes do you in life, like whether it's, great battle leaders or like Achilles or Leonidas or, great generals or whatever. Like they did great things, so they weren't that important until they failed and figured it out, and then they became great. So I don't know. That's one of my favorite things. That's what I try to keep in my mind when I get in a weird place or like a down place. That's why I love listening to like little quotes like that, because they stick with me, and I feel like it helps my life out a lot because it puts things in perspective. Because if Kobe, one of the greatest work ethics and greatest athletes, worked his ass off his career to become one of the greatest of all time, can say, hey, well, you're not that important, dude. When he shoots an air ball or whatever and the crowd boos him or laughs and you're not that important. Like, who gives a fuck? They're going to forget about you. And, how many times you guys forget about running backs, Peyton Hillis or, Priest Holmes.
Oh, Priest
Holmes. What I'm saying? Like, how many, you're not that important unless you do fucking great things. So forget about this. It ain't that bad, and let's go and get it. Is basically what I take out of that. I love it. You know, that Kobe's actually probably one of my favorite dudes. Like his mentality, his work ethic, you know, his grind, his competitiveness, bro. I fucking love it. Like all of it. I love listening to his like stories and what he says. He says so many great things and so many things that I'm like, man, he is spot on.
I love listening to other people's stories about him because he didn't have to tell the story. They told it for him.
Yeah. And
it's so relatable to how he thought.
How about when he got pump faked from out of bounds? Just didn't even flinch.
Oh, Matt Barnes, bro.
That is the coldest video.
He's like, you were never going to do it, you puss.
They end up being teammates.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Just stuff like that. And I just, you know, I think it's great. One of the things that I feel like at some point in time I'm going to tell my son is, he said what changed his life was he didn't, you know, he played basketball and was lanky, you know, trying to grow into himself. He didn't score one single point all summer in his basketball camp. And his dad was a really good basketball player, and, you know, and he felt so ashamed. And he said that his dad came up and gave him a hug after the whole season. He was just down, and he's like, I didn't score, I didn't do anything. And he said, no matter what happens, son, I will love you no matter what. And he said that was the greatest thing he's ever heard, but because then he said, okay, well, my dad's going to love me no matter if I'm going to score 0 or 60. Well, I'm going to go score fucking 60. And then he started making his kill list and, you know, started coming after people and drove his competitiveness. And I thought that was one of the greatest stories that I've heard.
And then he did it in the 8th grade.
Yeah,
how wild is that?
That's so crazy. I mean, he could have chose the other path too. He could have gone, well, he's gonna love me no matter what. I'm gonna score 0 points.
Yeah,
like, I'm gonna shoot left-handed.
Good. Yeah, that's that kind of mindset that Kobe had, and why he's so great is that he chose to go to the max. That guy was awesome, man.
Yeah,
he always forward thinking. How can I be the best?
Yeah. So if you haven't listened to a lot of Kobe stuff, I recommend it. You can YouTube it, whatever. He has awesome ones. He sits down with tons of people, or he just tells stories himself, and his stories are really, really good. They have a lot of, you know, life lessons and things he's been through, especially when he got out of, you know, when he retired and shit. Not before he died. Rest in peace, buddy. But yeah, he had a lot of good stories, a lot of great stuff about what he'd do. You know, when he's in there, he would go and talk about, or he'd go and talk to Goat Mountain, is whatever he called it. You know, Magic, Bird, Jordan, Olajuwon. Like, you'd go talk to them and figure out their mindsets and what they thought about whatever he's going through, why he'd be in a slump. Like, I think that's a big lesson too, to go reach out. People who've done it, or people, you know, who are in different spots, figure out their minds, you know, where they're coming from, and then, you know, add that to your repertoire. You know,
Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
I love smoking a pancake, buddy.
Bong in the blitz. Huh?
Open a crepe?
Flapjack and a cigarette? No.
And there is no place in you.
All right, let's wrap it up. My wife just got home.
Yeah, let's wrap her up. Well, that was good. Good fucking shit. I liked it.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to think of some more conspiracy stuff, or maybe get into some Bigfoot, or, you know, some shit. I like talking about this stuff. You know, like werewolves.
Megalodon.
Yeah, go watch some of the Unexplained on Netflix. Wow, they talk about the pyramids. I loved it, but they talk about like werewolves and, you know, haunted houses and ghosts and all sorts of weird shit.
Reincarnation.
I don't know if they do that, but keep it tuned. Well,
Yeah, Bigfoot and aliens.
yeah, I love that.
Good shit.
I love
Bigfooted aliens.
large.
Bigfoot is an alien.
Aliens with small feet. That's a new one.
Yeah. The skin box.
Oh yes, that's a keeper.
Well, oh man. Ever listening to this far? Yeah, you enjoyed it. I already know.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Also, find us on YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, wherever you want to see us. We'll be there. Fellas, cheers.
Cheers.
Good episode.
Salut.